tell me this is not the cutest little G1 you've ever seen. Here's a little 3D cupcake. I think her name is Cupcake. I'm pretty sure. I have always wanted to go to the New York Toy Fair, at least of 2024. I didn't check for 2025. It wasn't just something you could buy tickets to, you had to have a way in via being an industry professional or a family vlogger. I remember vaguely at some point, I don't know if it's always been this way, but if you were like in a design school in New York, there was like a way in through that. I was in school in the DMV area and I don't remember opportunities stemming from that. I think they just try to prevent the attendees from being like entirely nerdy toy collector guys. Though honestly with the YouTubers that attend, the line is kind of blurry. I don't think they let anyone in who doesn't have professional interest. So I saw this year's stuff popping up on Blue Sky, so I watched some of the vlogs for the New York Toy Fair. My initial impressions, a lot of anime figures. Seems like a new development to me, at least in the past few years. Society's new tolerance for liking anime is bizarre to me because I was bullied for it as late as like middle school. I'm not complaining, I think it's great. I think it's like how people back in the day were bullied for liking Star Wars or superheroes or comics, and now those are like the biggest movie franchises we have. Regular everyday adults wear superhero merch, and I think sometimes my generation, myself included, forget how unthinkable that was at one point. Nerds run the world, man. Those guys end up with the money and they are willing to buy whatever plastic shapes that cater to them. That being said, I don't think being an anime fan today is like normalized. I just think that the bar for how into it you can be before it's weird has been raised. Like in my opinion, there's a list of approximately like 10 anime/mangas that you can publicly like that are socially acceptable. One Piece, Dragon Ball, Naruto, yada yada. Shonen stuff typically is like what's socially acceptable. But because they like those animes, it's then even weirder. Once you say, I like Fruits Basket, I like Madoka Magica, Cardcaptor Sakura. For some reason, those animes aren't considered cool, like the shonen stuff. I just watched Lucky Star over and over again. I'm just saying otaku is harder to qualify for now. Anyway, that's what I thought about when I saw the anime figures at the New York Toy Fair. Another initial impression of the fair, diversity in dolls is still a thing. There was still dolls of all different colors and shapes and body types, which is a relief to see currently. We'll see next year if brands respond to the new political climate. I know Disney already abandoned ship on the diversity thing, like the minute they felt like no one was gonna hold them accountable for it anymore. So kind of worried about that. Also, I noticed that slime was still in. I saw these like gooey slimes. I thought they were really cute. They're like supposed to be like cosmetics, but they're slime. I'm not really into slime. I don't know who is. My prediction is that it's either like with no in between, younger kids or middle schoolers, like the way middle schoolers were into fidget spinners. Also, I'm qualifying those kinetic sand type toys as slime for this discussion. Slime is a difficult market. I always shake my head seeing people start their slime small business because honestly, like post 2020, slime was a super oversaturated market and the people who made it to the top first are gonna stay there and the rest of you guys are gonna be grasping at nothing. I imagine it's similar with like major toy manufacturers, though I don't know who is king slime right now. I think slime is mostly successful right now as an added gimmick to toys. Like, I know there were a lot of minifigures recently that came with slime, but I don't know that kids are going to Target for slime. I've been trying to find an end to this mystical slime community online. Like, I'm desperate to find out who is keeping it afloat. I just genuinely can't get a read on it. Okay, so toys. These are like initial toys I don't have categories for. The Hello Kitty Dream Cafe building set. It's like a Lego type thing. I don't really care about Sanrio, but I've noticed that these buildable sets are really popular right now. Crayola Color Worlds Arena. They are Crayola marker Beyblades. The tops, like to make the marker spin, are available as of right now, but I think the arenas aren't available yet. Obviously, we will see them drop in 2025. And then Gem and the Holograms. I saw that they released a doll like a month or so ago, and then Walmart is selling them. I think the box is like an echo to her original packaging, but it's still so beautifully 80s, like accurate 80s, not just like 80s motifs on otherwise modern packaging. The doll is definitely a collector's piece. It seems to be the only doll that the men filming most of these vlogs were willing to stop and like observe or talk about in any capacity. I have like a Gem and the Holograms comic, like the one that came out in 2016, but I just can't get into it. I don't know. And last random thing, I didn't know where to put this one, but one of the vloggers I watched, she briefly filmed this like insane dance routine to promote the card game Flip 7. Shout out to Flip 7 for giving these probably struggling dancers work in New York City. It's a tough industry right now, it always is. They wrote, like, the song that they're dancing to, they wrote that song for this fair to promote their card game. I need to talk about this next person really fast. I don't know if anyone remembers MyFroggyStuff. I remember her as the lady that did tutorials for making clothes or like items for American Girl dolls and also Barbies. I had a huge American Girl phase in my youth. I'm so glad she's still around and being given the respect she deserves as like a pillar in the toy community by being given access to this fair. Thank you to MyFroggyStuff for like cohesively filming most of the girls' toys that I really care about on this list. I couldn't have even researched for this video without her, honestly, and her video was only 10 minutes long. And not to be like a totally commie, woke feminist, but most of the male vloggers that I watched to research for this video didn't even think it was worth giving any of the girl stuff like a decent walk by on camera. Their videos were like 20 to 30 minutes long and were titled things like New York Toy Fair full walkthrough, New York Toy Fair tour, or some equivalent, and then they had like meager footage of the girls' toys, if at all. They were like useless in my research, and their videos were like top of the results when I searched for stuff for this. MyFroggyStuff has like a special responsibility towards girls' toys because that's like her whole brand. Like some of the guys were like specifically anime guys, so I understood why they were focusing on anime figures. It would have been weird for those people to go on a side quest to go look at the McFarlane Toys booth. But the women vloggers that were like just generally filming the fair at least took a peek at the boys' stuff at the very least. Like they cared about what was going on over there, and I don't think that's a lot to ask for. I was desperately combing for footage for this video, and the only people that came through were women. Only. Anyway, Furby minis. These are really cute and collectible. They remind me of Little's Pet Shop, and they're like food themed. The lighting for their display at the fair cast them in this really nice like angelic light. I don't know if anyone remembers Poopsies by MGA, specifically the slime surprise critters. Poopsies is like, it's just a bizarre theme for a brand, but I remember finding these minifigures gorgeous back in the day. My friends collected those things to death for some reason. I think they would either spit out slime or like poop, and you didn't know which one until you put the powder in. They had this beautiful pearlized finish, and their eyes were like a glass material with real lashes, like 3D lashes, I mean. I feel like I would have similar interest in the mini Furbies as I did to these. The Polly Pocket Peeps set. Polly Pocket like released a bunch of stuff, but the Peeps set is so cute. I noticed they were doing a lot of collabs with franchises this year. The Peeps ones are like technically a 2024 release, but it's the first time I'm seeing them, so I think they just like announced them in 2024 and then released them for Easter, or they already released them and are re-releasing them for Easter. Oh my god. I don't know how Polly Pocket is doing. Like, they're not on my radar at all. Their continued release of items for their current generation tells me they're at least doing well for like the manufacturers to keep having faith in them to make more stuff. I don't know anyone in my generation who has like genuine nostalgic and beloved attachment to Polly Pocket. Like, I know that we remember it and that the clothes were satisfying to chew on, but I've never heard anyone speak of it with the same reverence that they did with Strawberry Shortcake or My Little Pony. I'm sure someone will appear in my comments. The Chibi, that's the name of the brand, Chibi. The Rainbow Bright minifigures, they're 2.5 inches. They're coming to 5 below, so I will probably shoplift them. I'm just kidding, officer, I'm just kidding. Rainbow Bright has tried and failed like multiple times to make a relevant reboot. I'm hoping they can work it out, but honestly, I just think rainbows are not an exciting business move for anyone to make in the current situation. They probably just feel safer making vintage stuff at this point. Chibi is also doing Strawberry Shortcake figures, also in like a vintage style. The Play-Doh Barbie clothes. So Barbie is doing a thing where you can make clothes for your doll out of Play-Doh. The function for this toy is actually really cool, but I think that it's something that parents would have to supervise because honestly, I think the age demographic that would be interested in this would find it difficult to understand and like use. I was surprised by how many vloggers stopped to like play with this thing. Something about the tangibility of it they like. Barbie released a lot of stuff this year, but honestly, I think I said this before, but like Barbie's on a downfall and I don't care about it anymore. Barbie released new stuff for their fashionista line as usual, with less articulation than in the past. Okay, anyway, Monster High. Monster High released a lot of stuff this year. The Monster High Boutique Hotel. This thing has beautiful colors. It also has this really interesting like upside down bed for Draculaura to hang when she's sleeping. The whole set is like beautiful black gothic accents, and it comes with dinnerware for the dolls and some furniture, and the furniture was gorgeous. Like I would love to own like a real version of it, and it's $99. Also, we're getting the fourth wave of the Monster High Potions minifigures. This is like the crystal ball wave, I think is what they're calling it. I think these minifigures are like more for kids than collectors. Kids will buy minifigures with gimmicks like the potion stuff, even if they don't like Monster High. I guess these minifigures must be selling well if they're on wave 4. I really like the look of these minifigures in general. Like, they remind me of Equestria Girls minis. So all of My Little Pony stuff we have to talk about. The biggest thing I think we're gonna care about is the Miniso collab. Miniso in like late 2024 released a bunch of really cute Generation 4 My Little Pony stuff in China and like Singapore, I think. China's getting all sorts of cool My Little Pony stuff and it's pissing me off. Their Dairy Queen had a freaking My Little Pony G4 collab like last year. This stuff dropped at Miniso and we didn't see anything about it coming to the US. In February, Miniso US posted, hey, we're gonna bring to the US a bunch of My Little Pony stuff, but then the promo image had like none of the stuff that US collectors were coveting, like at all. It wasn't any of the plushes, it was mostly just like activity sets for kids and like kitty cosmetics even. It was like pretty, like the packaging was pretty, but it was obviously not what we were hoping for. But then this display for Miniso / My Little Pony, we saw some of this stuff from China, like at that display, so I guess that gives us hope that it might come to the US. We saw some of the plushes we were hoping for, plus some cosmetics, but they had G1 on them. I've been seeing a lot of G1 merch, and I guess that's for like millennials and like older people. I'm not a huge G1 head, but I've essentially been Stockholmed into caring about it because it's the only generation that Hasbro wants to release merch for right now. I think G4 would sell just as well as G1. I feel this way about the Rainbow Bright figures from earlier. I just think in general, Big Toy is like really attached to the 80s versions of their IPs right now. And then the last My Little Pony thing, and I was surprised to see these at a toy fair, but the Hey Dude My Little Pony shoes, also G1. It is a toy fair, but there are a lot of products for kids that aren't toys being displayed as well. There was this woman who invented like backpacks that converted into sleeping bags, and she made an appearance at the fair. Finally, and this is the only reason I even wanted to make this video at all, Decora ponies. The Decora Girls line has been out for a while, but honestly, I was past my Decora phase by the time they were released. I still like Decora, I'm just like, I can't be bothered right now. So I'm not like collecting Decora Girls. I would rather put my toy money towards My Little Pony, I guess. Maybe when I have 2 million subscribers, I can afford to collect multiple things at once. But then I saw these Decora ponies. I was unable to find any footage of the Decora ponies display at all. And honestly, I'm like not even certain that these were even dropped at the fair because I only saw like a couple of snapshots that people took of them at the fair, but I didn't see like footage, so I'm like, are these even real? Like maybe I have my info wrong, I don't know. But they're not up for sale yet, so I'm like, it has to be this year's fair because it just happened. They have really cute designs. I like every single one of them, and that doesn't always happen to me. And some of them have bat wings, like dude. One issue that a few people noted in the Twitter thread, the stickers that they come with are just as big as the ones that come with the human dolls. And this is problematic, I guess, because the pony bodies, like they don't really have the room for the stickers. The stickers kind of bulge out awkwardly from the doll. I saw people on Twitter that were like, we're also excited for the Decora ponies, so I think these have like a multi-fandom appeal. Anyway, this entire channel is just a plot for me to get famous enough to go to the New York Toy Fair. See her beautiful bulging eyes.